Hey everyone, welcome to the very first video episode of the Music Universe podcast. I'm Matt.
And Buddy, thanks for checking us out. And we have a special guest with us today.
That's right, we do. The iconic BJ Thomas. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Congrats on...
I'm glad to be the first one. That's great.
Yeah, we started as a podcast. Now we're moving to video. We have a YouTube series we do. So we're just trying out all this technology. How are you doing with technology? Have you been learning the ins and outs of Zooms during the pandemic?
Well, yeah, I have. I've done a lot of Zooms, and so I'm hopefully getting the hang of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the technology that's the big change in music right now. The technology is a little different.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah. So it's 50, or it's probably 51 by now. 50 years for Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Can you believe that song has lasted 50 years and isn't in the bottom of a bin somewhere, that it is a classic song that has stood the test of time?
Well, I can, and I know 50 years, it does feel like 50 years, but, now that it's here, it seems like it got here rather quickly. But, I've had a lot of conversations with Hal David, who wrote the lyrics, and Mr. Bacharach, who composed the music. And I understood from the get-go that, that the Hal meant for the lyrics to really mean something. He was supposed to write kind of a frivolous song for the bicycle scene,
Mm-hmm.
and Butch Cassidy, but he said, BJ, I don't write frivolous songs. So he wrote a very simple song, which was his, he just wrote straight from the heart, Hal David. And the lyrics do have a very meaningful statement to make. As long as you're free, you don't have any worries, and the rain is going to fall on everyone. So it's just been a really great song. The melody was just quirky enough, and just a brilliant combination. We had the movie going for us. We had the greatest composer and one of the greatest songwriters of all time. And as long as I hit the notes right, we were going to get through and have a big record.
And what's it feel like to have that kind of longevity, 50 plus years in this industry?
Well, it's been 50 years this year, 50 years. That's kind of the thing that I'm probably most proud of now is the longevity of the thing, and all the years that it's, retained its meaning. And, that's all just, a wonderful benefit of working with these great writers and composers, and it's all good. Everything that happened with Raindrops turned out good. The only thing that was a little weird is, I had laryngitis when I did the bicycle scene, and I could barely talk, but somehow Bert, Mr. Bacharach, he never said a word. He kind of was like I was supposed to have laryngitis, but we re-recorded it, of course, later for the single version that was #1. But yeah, it feels good. The longevity is the thing that I'm most proud of, probably.
What's the history behind the song for the movie? How did it come to you? You were talking about how they don't do frivolous songs. What's the history behind them wanting that original song for the movie?
Well, I think that was a suggestion from the movie people to make it a frivolous song, but I don't think they ever really, Bert and Hal, I don't think they intended to do anything silly or frivolous. I was with Scepter Records, and Bert and Hal produced and wrote most of Dionne Warwick's records, and they were a big part of that label. And the owner of the label, Florence Greenberg, asked me to move to New York City. Asked me and Gloria, we had just gotten married. And I was recording in Memphis, and I was making hit records, and I just made Hooked on a Feeling, and everything was going good, and I loved it in Memphis. But they asked me to move up to New York, and they said if I did, they thought they could get me a song in a session with Bert Bacharach and Hal David. So that sounded good. So I had been in New York City, and Bert and I had been looking for songs, and he had been writing songs, and we were looking for something to do for a couple of months. When the bicycle scene came up, and I had just had a big hit record, so he he liked to record people that sold records. So I was kind of, the right things were happening, and I got the shot to do it.
Buddy, go ahead.
Yeah, that's awesome. And kind of to change pace, I guess, a little bit with the technology. You've seen a lot over 50 years in the industry. Is this by far the probably craziest moment throughout your career that you've had to experience?
You mean just the way the pandemic and
Yeah.
or what? Yeah, I mean it certainly is, and the technology is the biggest change in music right now. I mean, you can go in your bedroom with your software and make a worldwide hit. So that's become a little different. Which reminds me, when we did Raindrops, we had 90 guys in there.
Wow.
And all the strings and horns and what have you. And we only did 3 takes. So I think now they belabor it a little bit more than that. But it was a lot of fun to do back then with all the live people. And I think people who are up on technology, they have just as much fun.
When you sing it live, I mean, we're not live now, haven't been for several months, but when you're performing in concert and you sing it live, what's the response like 50 years on to this song?
Well, everybody that comes to see me, that's the song they came to hear. They don't remember all my other stuff, but
I doubt that.
I mean, they remember Wrong Song and Hooked on a Feeling, Just Can't Help Believing in certain things. But they're looking forward to hearing that song. A lot of times, I tell you, it's almost anticlimactic when I do it, because they've so anticipated it. Then once they hear it, it's like, well, okay, we heard it, but that's something they're always looking forward to. And just so, how fortunate can a guy get to do a song that stands up like that? And, we just put it in the Grammy Hall of Fame a few years ago, and just a beautiful experience, and people love to hear it. They still do.
That's wonderful. I want to talk about another album you were a part of that you may not even, I don't want to say you don't remember this, but this is how I was introduced to your music. And you're going to think this is so funny. It's just so out of left field. But the Mr. Rogers tribute album that you did, I forget which song, you did Such a Good Feeling, I think, on that record.
Yeah,
and,
such a good feeling. Yeah.
And I want to know the history, how they approached you, how you decided how you were going to interpret the work of Fred Rogers and tackling a children's song like that as a country music artist.
This is going to be disappointing, I think, to some people, because I'm trying to recall the name of the guy who produced the album. It mostly was him. He did the great production and the recording. And I'm having a hard time coming up with his name. And he won a Grammy, and I think he might have won 2, because he did a volume 2 also of Mr. Rogers songs. Mm-hmm. I really apologize. I'm not being able to come up with his name. But this guy mainly did the interpretation and recorded the song. I came in after they had recorded it and did my vocal. And it was kind of fun. Came in the control booth where I was, and he was kind of directing me, of when and how to sing or whatever. And I had to tell him, look, let me sing this thing, and then if you don't like what I've done, well, then we'll work on it and make it right, So anyway, I got him out of the booth, with the vocal booth. But other than that, it was a very easy thing to do. The guy was a great guy. And I really am sorry I can't come up with his name. Right
no, that's fine. I think Buddy and I are both looking into it, and we can't find the name either.
I'm looking here, but
his name. He's a great guy, but I'm not.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's how I was introduced to your music, and then of course I heard everything else. It's funny. Some things are like you hear them because your grandparents bring back a tape from Branson, or you see them on TV. This was this album, so. Yeah, you never know how somebody's gonna find you.
Yeah, that was kind of just a thing that came, more or less over the phone. The guy had recorded most of the songs, and he was looking for people to be involved. And it was like, hey, will you do it? Yeah, I'll do it. I flew in, I did it. one afternoon. I mean, he sent me the track. I learned the track. And I flew in, did it one afternoon, and then I was done. So
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of solid memories about it, but I do remember doing it and it being a lot of fun.
Now, let's get back to Raindrops, because I have a few more questions. Now,
Okay.
did you win? Were you part of the Oscar-winning group? Are you Oscar winner B.J. Thomas, or is
No,
that?
I'm not. No, I didn't win an Oscar. I mean, I think they certainly should include the singer of the song,
Right.
and I wish I
Yeah, of
had
course.
won one. But it
Yeah.
was a great night. I mean, I did this song on the broadcast. It was a big production thing with bicycles and dancers and what have you. And I just had the feeling at the first rehearsal that I think we're going to win this thing. But no, I didn't receive an Oscar, but I was really happy for Mr. Bacharach won two Oscars, and Hal David won one for the lyrics of Raindrops. And it was what a great experience it was for me to perform on that show, and in front of all those people.
You might have touched on this a little bit earlier, but what led to the decision to have you sing it and not have Bert sing this song?
Well, I think Bert has sung many songs, and I love the way he interprets his own music. But I think they were looking for a little bit more of a performance on the vocal, and I think they wanted somebody. And I don't think for all the movie songs they've written, I don't think Bert has done the vocal on any of them.
Sure.
So I think they were looking for somebody who was currently selling records to do the vocal and have that be another thing that pulled people into the theater. And it was just it was a great thing, because I think the movie was such a good movie. And you probably haven't seen it, but it was a great movie. And they basically were making what they were intending to be an art film. And that was why Mr. Redford kind of objected to having this pop song in his movie. He didn't really. He objected to the song for a strong period of time, and they convinced him that it worked. And after they played him the bicycle scene, he agreed that it really worked and it fit the movie. So I'm glad of that.
That's wonderful. Let's shift gears here real quick and talk about, just for the last few minutes here, got about 10 minutes left, what you've been doing recently, recent recordings, recent performing, and what are you looking forward to after the pandemic?
Well, I'm all of us, and this is probably so in all walks of life, but the musicians and people such as yourself, we have a burning desire to do what we do, and it's a kind of a unique thing where we we record, we travel, we get up in front of different people every night, and pull it out, pull our soul out or whatever. So I'm really missing that, but and I can't wait to get back to that. And I've had to put off certain things. I had a session in Muscle Shoals on the 15th of July that we had to reschedule, and so none of us really know when the end of this thing is going to come. And it's probably still going to be a pretty good stretch of time, maybe even late next year. But as soon as we can, we're going to get back out and start working. I mean, I Lord, and I'm recording with Dan Penn and Billy Lawson, two great songwriters in Muscle Shoals. And once you record the thing, the great payoff and satisfaction of doing the music is getting up in front of people and seeing what they think about it and how they react to it. So we're excited about getting back to that.
Why Muscle
Yeah.
Shoals?
Well, Muscle Shoals, as you know, was recorded some of the all-time greatest
Yes, sir.
records, across the board, along with Memphis and, of course, New York and California. But it's just a great place to record. I've recorded there once before, and I'm going in there, and I always wanted to, I haven't recorded that much over the last number of years, and, it just felt right to go back to Muscle Shoals. And that's what the songwriters that I'm going in with, that's basically where they record, so they're plugging me in.
Love that,
Now,
buddy.
I was going to ask if you guys are doing remote sessions. I know Dolly just wrapped a Christmas album that she's planning to release. She started it before the pandemic, has duets on there, and they've kind of done it remotely. Are you guys doing that, or are you just kind of going in and just making it a very slim crew in there?
Well, we're not doing it as long as anything is going on until it's safe. When we get the vaccine, we all get vaccinated, then we're going to go in and do it when there's no risk to it. But we're going to do it with live guys. Remote has come up, has been. I mentioned that to those guys that I've done that before on a thing or two before, and we just kind of decided that we'd rather do it together and do it live. So we're going to wait. Hopefully not longer than we want to, but we're gonna wait and do it live.
Yeah, and I think the energy is, to me, I've recorded before, and I think the energy is just better when you're all there in the room and not tracking it.
Yeah, that's the way I've always recorded, and that's the way I like to record. And just to be honest with you, recording has become less and less fun over the years, because you cut a thing, and then on Monday, and they say, well, next Friday we're going to do the vocal, and it's like, well, I like to do the vocal when I'm recording the song, but sometimes they don't have enough there. They're doing it in a different way. So this time I'm going to do the vocal live as we're recording it, and that's always worked best for me, because like Buddy said, the energy's up. Your emotions are up, and that's just the way I like to do it.
Yeah.
Well, BJ Thomas, this was fabulous. We hope you get back into that studio with that high energy level we know you have. Congrats on the undying, lasting success of Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. It was so great. Thank you so much for being with us. For the Music Universe podcast, I'm Matt.
Checking out our podcast wherever podcasts are heard, as well as YouTube. And for the latest news and reviews, themusicuniverse.com.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
This was great. Thank you so much, sir.
Hey, cool, man. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.